Today I want to help you understand why we use corporate jargon. Now just imagine you spend all of this time learning English. You've learned the basics, you learn a few intermediate things, maybe a few advanced things, you need it for your job, you've learned some words for that job, and then you hear some new buzzwords, phrases that you've never heard of before, only used at your job. This is corporate jargon. Or corporate jargon, as most people will say as well. So what is this? This is types of buzzwords, phrases that you can only use at your job. If you used a majority of these in daily life, it just wouldn't make sense. But for some reason, with business, in the office, wherever you work, it only works in here. It's very strange, but we have to learn. I have taught business English for over 2 years, and I've had students from all across the world who, in their job, have to speak to English native speakers. And they will have their own type of corporate jargon, business vocabulary, which you will not understand. So today, I'm going to teach you the most popular words and phrases you will hear. If you want to know all of them, I can make them in a future video, so do let me know down in the comments. But I'm going to teach you ones that I've heard, that my students have heard, and if you had to set these up by yourself, these ones would be the most popular. So let's begin. This is not going to be in order of importance, it's not going to be ranked from 1 to 5. It's just going to be ones that I have heard, what my students have heard, for example, and I want to share them with you in preparation for your next meeting, one-to-one conversation with a native client. So the first one I'm going to give you is circle back. And as you can see on the screen, it's just a circle. That is it. That was a horrible attempt of a circle, by the way. So with circle back, it means you are at one point and you can't talk about it right now, but you can come back to it in the future. So, for example, if we are in a meeting and we're talking about a point which is not that vital in this current meeting, we could say, let's circle back to it. So you have the point where you are talking about that topic. The host or whoever has said, we can circle back to this in the future. It means they will just return to it in the future. In that meeting, it could happen at the end of the meeting. It could happen in a few days when they send you an email. It could happen in a few months. There's not really a time frame on this, but from my experience, it's normally been minimum a week. But sometimes, like I said, it can happen for months. If you find it difficult to say circle back, an easier way to say this is just follow up. Can we follow up on this at a future date? The next one I've heard from working in schools, and it can be used in the office as well. It is deep dive, which means it's just having a thorough analysis on something. In a school example, we would have a deep dive. Somebody from a higher up, whether that's the headmaster, headmistress, somebody from the office, whoever it is, they would come into our classroom and observe one of our lessons to see if we're doing well or if we are doing bad. That is a deep dive. Business wise, you can use this on any topic. So let's say your sales are going down and you have noticed that maybe during summer your sales are going down. You would have a deep dive to find out the reason why and to rectify that problem. How about this one? Above my pay grade. This means a responsibility which is not in your current job role and you don't get paid enough to do this. For example, somebody higher up than you. It could be a job role above you, a few job roles above you. They are asking you to do something, let's not say of high importance, but it's a task that you are not prepared for, you don't get paid for, but they get paid to do. You can refuse this in a way of saying, I'm sorry, that's just above my pay grade. Bring to the table. This is one I've heard a lot, especially during the interview process. One of the questions you could be asked is, what do you bring to the table? And this just means tell me about your skill set, job experience. You are telling me what you have, What can you bring to this imaginary table that is in front of you? Not only is this done in interviews, this can be done just during meetings as well. So if you're looking for the right person for the job, so let's use me as an example. Lovely Jack tutoring here. I have teaching experience with English as a second language. I've worked in high schools and colleges. I've worked in learning support, and my degree is in sports development and coaching. So, with all of that and my skill set with patience teaching, for example, they could find me something in this imaginary company and say, Jack can bring this to the table. Jack is an ideal person. He brings all of this to the table. And to finish off today, I'm going to leave you with kind of a funny one. And when I say this, all of you are going to think of that person right away. It's called micromanaging. So let's split that word. Micro means something small, and managing means you're a manager, you are in control of certain things. You combine them together, it means you are controlling every little detail. So we all have that one person that doesn't trust you in that group project, and they want to micromanage everything. They want to check every small bit of progress. They want to get involved in everything because they don't trust you, or maybe it's just something they prefer to do. I've had a lot of micromanaging co-workers in the past. They wouldn't let me do anything on my own. They always wanted to see what I was doing. They were being a micromanager. So those, I would say, are the most popular ones right now, with a funny one at the end. If you would like to hear a majority of corporate jargon, business vocabulary phrases in British English, let me know down in the comments. And if you do want to improve your business English, getting ready for a job, or wanting to sound more confident in your meetings, then you can learn with me by either scanning this QR code or clicking on the link down below in the description. Book a trial with me. Let me help you improve your English. Let me help you sound more confident.